Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. First and foremost, let's start off by giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. Right, let's start off with Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot rest. But Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even, and even at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. All right, so we know from this last verse right here, Yasharallah, all right, that this prophecy was fulfilled for all 12 of the tribes, with Judah specifically here in America through the transatlantic slave trade, right? All right, and for the Native Americans and Latinos, it happened through the Christopher Columbus coming over here and slaughtering and enslaving, the Caribbean islands, and also stealing the land from the Native Americans. All right, but specifically concerning Judah today, kind of want to go into this a little bit more and talk about basically this hasn't ended, Yasharallah. All right, we're still being oppressed. We're still being how do we say enslaved, right? So right here it says, let's read this again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, right? Which the word Egypt means bondage, slavery. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, right, concerning Israel, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies. Who's your enemies? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, which this means save or redeem. Okay, you will not be saved or redeemed. You will go through this slavery. All right, and this continues to this day. All right, you can read this whole chapter, Deuteronomy 28, to see the blessings and the curses. All right, right now we're under the curses. Okay, which a big one is slavery, Yasharallah, bondage, captivity. All right, we are not in our own land, therefore we do not get to follow our customs and live in righteousness. We are governed by the wicked, right? As the scriptures say, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, I got some scriptures here I want to go over too as far as that, because actually before we go to the scriptures, let's look at some pictures. All right, this is what slavery looked like back then, Yasharallah. All right, and this is what modern day slavery looks like. You see, because the difference is back then it was overt, now it is covert. You see, so what they did now is they set us up, Yasharallah. Okay, and there's a gentleman right here that explains it. I believe it's an Edomite, but it could be a Jake. He explains how they put drugs in the neighborhoods. And, these people, right, after serving all this slavery, right, and dealing with oppression, they have to go into the same world as their oppressor who hates them. And they have to build themselves up by the bootstrap when their oppressor already has generational wealth from their labor. So guess what they do? The oppressor sets them up to continue to enslave them. Like the scriptures say, Esau has had a perpetual hatred. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Let's go ahead and read down, Yasharallah. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, and they did not hate blood, Yasharallah, when they put us to death over any little thing. All right? Even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir, right, which is another word for Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, most desolate. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. And I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see? So as you can see, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai hates Esau, Edom. All right? And we can also go to the book of Romans. Right? Romans, let's skip the commentary bullshit. Here we go. Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, which is Israel, but Esau, the so-called white man, have I hated. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see, Yasharallah? All right? So with that, let's go ahead and watch this video here. And also, Yasharallah, we got, if you're blessed enough to not be in prison, all right, you're going to be oppressed at your job by your Edomite boss. Okay, you obviously going to have to work harder than the other people there just to keep your spot, right? And on top of that, they're going to pay you less. The system is just set up against us, Yasharallah. So I want y'all to know we're still in captivity, in case you forgot. All right? Which you shouldn't. All right? Unless you love this world. Unless you're cooning for Esau. Let's watch this, Yasharallah. Turn the volume up here. They're going to explain it perfectly. How the Edomites basically set it up so that after slavery was abolished, they could basically have slavery just in another form.
This video trending last week, and it's a TikTok of a white guy by the name of Danny Collins, and he was breaking down systemic and institutional racism that still exists in 2023. Watch this.
A lot of people ask me, what was my aha moment? What made me change my perspective? And it's when I saw this. So a black person in the United States during the Jim Crow era faced second-class citizenship, disenfranchisement, barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, and barriers to housing. Then we had the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which stated we could no longer do any of this. We could no longer discriminate based on race. So in 2023, what is the only group of people that we can legally discriminate against? We can legally relegate to second-class citizenship, create barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, barriers to housing. If you answer convicted felon, you are absolutely correct. In 2023, a convicted felon is the only group of people that we can legally do all this to. Now, do you believe it's a coincidence that 1 in 3 black males carry this label as convicted felon, as opposed to 1 in 17 white males? If you answered yes to that question, let's take a look at what's happened since the dismantling of the Jim Crow laws. We've had a 700% increase in our prison population. We've gone from 300,000 inmates to as high as 2.3 million. Now, I do believe we're back down to about 1.8 million today. We had the law and order agenda, which was an increase in police spending and a decrease in school funding, which created the school to prison pipeline. We also had the war on drugs, which we now know was a war on people. We had the 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act, and we had the 1994 Crime Bill. Now, the 86 Anti-Drug Abuse Act differentiated between rock cocaine and powder cocaine, which we know predominantly impacted the black community. And the 94 Crime Bill created harsher sentences, lengthier sentences, and minimum mandatories. We also know that black people make up 53% of all exonerations, 69% of exonerations for drug crimes.
So right there, you see he's talking about exonerations, which means that it was later found out that that particular person did not commit the crime. You see? So as you can see, Israelites are falsely accused more than these Edomites. All right?
And they're 7 times more likely to be wrongly convicted. So when I seen all of this, I realized that racism in this country never ended. We have a systemic issue.
So as you saw and heard him say, that was my aha moment. That's when I realized that I had to change my position and,
So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you, Yasharallah. The way he kind of broke that down made a lot of sense. And he did it, kind of quick, straight to the point. All right? So, all you out here, you Israelites out here cooning, talking about how, oh, you just got to work hard and shit. Acting like, oh, I never seen racism. You never seen racism. That's bullshit, man. That's fucking bullshit. There's still racism. There's still discrimination. And there's still... But really, it's not... I don't like those labels because that's what Esau calls them. What the truth is, we're still under captivity. All right? We're still under the curses. All right? The wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is still upon us, Israel. But that punishment's getting ready to finish. Everything's getting ready to be flipped around, Yasharallah. All right? But I just want to kind of go over this and show y'all, the hopeful elect out there, that, yeah, we're still in captivity. So for those of you that might be saying, well, where's the captivity? There's no more slavery and stuff. Yeah, but the slavery is just more sly and sneaky. All right? I think it would be worse to sit in a freaking jail cell all day. I mean, that's got to be the shittiest life, right? And a lot of these light skins in here could be Jakes too. All right? Especially if you're a Latino, Native American Indian. All right? But some of these Edomite looking men, some of them could be Jakes. All right? Like this guy could possibly be a Jake. All right? But yeah, Yasharallah, we're still going through it. Our punishment is still there. All right? But soon, very soon, as y'all know, all right, this devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath and implement that mark of the beast system. All right? Which actually he's got the system, and then they've got the, hey, you got to be careful with this stuff. Hang on. Hey, soon, Yasharallah, they getting ready to implement this. All right? So, stay strong in the faith, keep enduring, keep going, keep pushing, all right? Until next time, I say shalom.